It's a good story, and I'm sure it will be familiar to a lot of the people in your community who probably have a very similar background to me. I studied at the college and I graduated in '06 with the very definitive intention of becoming a Dutch colonial historian. And I thought, so I went off to the Netherlands and did my master's, and somewhere along the way realized that I was certainly not cut out to be an academic and that I should perhaps, try my hand at something else. And seeing as I was lost, I also, like a lot of people, went into management consulting and spent a few years there. But my interest in Dutch colonial history had taken me to Indonesia, and I actually convinced my then girlfriend and my firm to transfer me into their Jakarta office. And I had been there in Jakarta for 4 months, a few years into my career, when one day I just quite randomly received a message on LinkedIn, and it said, "Do you want to build the first billion-dollar tech company in Indonesia?" And, it sounds like it's a Nigerian prince story, right? But it really felt at the time like this moment, the possibility of adventure and to do something different. And actually, my then girlfriend, now wife, had also received the same message, and we ended up quitting our jobs and we did this. This was a real thing. We built a large e-commerce retailer there in Indonesia. And this was around about 2011, 2012. It was at the dawn of the internet age in Indonesia. In fact, I think when we started, there were 4 sites on which you could transact in Indonesia at the time. And now, obviously, a large number of unicorns come from that country, 4th most populous country in the world. It's a huge ecosystem, but back then it wasn't. And this was a real kind of extraordinary introduction into, building companies and dealing with challenging environments. And frankly, I never looked back. And so my wife and I went on from doing that. We started another company of our own in Indonesia. The second one wasn't as successful as the first. First one being Lazada, which ultimately wrapped up and sold to Alibaba. Our second company wasn't as successful. And so we ended up coming back to Australia and, running a couple of different tech businesses there. And when I was approached by one of the firms down here to get into investing, that I actually called an old friend of mine from Harvard and told him about this. And he said, "Listen, I've just started a company, and what we're going to do is we're going to scour the world in every market, and we are going to look for the most brilliant people, and we are going to convince them to come and build companies, and we are going to invest in them from day zero, and we're going to be there as a long-term partner with them throughout the duration of their company experience through to exit."